Boxing King Media in association with Boxer Ben Shalom. A fight that nobody saw coming. Lawrence OKOLIE versus Billam-Smith. So just tell me when this idea first got into your mind.
When I realised that they would fight each other, I never knew. Even when we signed Chris, when we signed Lawrence, we thought this was the impossible fight. It was not even worth asking because they were in the same stable, same trainer. I even thought it would be impossible once Lawrence left. So, yeah, when it became possible, domestic world title in a stadium, and they both wanted it, it actually came from Chris's camp. What a fight! So, as a fan, just unbelievable, because what we're going to see is all the cruiserweights 50-50 fights and going into it. And what I love about this fight is you've got the world champion taking a voluntary away in Bournemouth Stadium with the biggest atmosphere that he'll ever have fought in, with everyone against him. That's what makes boxing special. The atmosphere is going to be incredible. Chris goes to another level in front of those fans. I've seen that in December, in July as well. So yeah, this is going to be a special one. I can't believe. Yeah, I would have never predicted this. And for Chris, to be honest, to have gone through, to have taken him to Bournemouth for the first time, and now to be doing a stadium in less than 12 months for a world title, you can only try and do the best for the fighters that put their faith in you and decide. And yes, it's unbelievable. It's going to be such a special, spectacular event.
It's fair play, because when you took Chris Billam on, people questioned that, and you obviously promised him everything, and it seems like you've delivered, and you've delivered a world title shot in his local stadium. But this fight, how were you able to make it so quickly? Because world title fights, all that money on the table, they normally take weeks. It seems like you sealed it up within days.
And that's why it's credit to the fighters. I think we're trying to convince guys. Isaac Chamberlain's up there still fighting for us, and he's lost twice. Take the big fights and things will happen. There's enough guys in that division for them all to fight each other. The boxing world and industry is so much protecting fighters to the point where no one's fighting each other. We've now got Lawrence, who's happy to go and do a voluntary in a very dangerous fight away in a stadium, and that needs to be commended. That's why this was easy to make. It's because of the fighters, and the fighters won the big fights. And yeah, it's all it's come together so well, so quickly. And yeah, what a treat! What a treat as a fan.
You're going head to head with the DAZN and Michael Conlan's fight as well. You got Wood Lara on the same day. It's a big day for boxing. But tell the fans out there why they should be watching this fight ahead of the other two.
To be honest, as a boxing fan, this many broadcasters investing in boxing is a good thing. This many fighters getting opportunities is a good thing. We put out Chris Billam-Smith was going to be on the 27th of May a long time ago. A long time ago, and we're in a stadium, and that we get told by AFC Bournemouth what date they can do. This is a special night, and this is a domestic world title, and we don't usually get them. And yeah, I think this is one for the boxing fans, but also one for, I think, for the casual fans. This is two guys I'll have seen going at it, putting it all on the line in an atmosphere, and it is a true underdog story. And I think a lot of people will be surprised by this fight, but what an event we now have. And I will say, Mikel Lawal against Isaac Chamberlain as a chief support is going to be a hell of a fight. As I say, the division is on fire. I think Pickford will be on there against Eggington. Cutler in an English title. Yeah, it's going to be a big card down there, and it's going to be incredible atmosphere. But for me, we try and avoid clashes. I speak to Queensbury a fair bit about avoiding clashes. We avoided the April the 15th day with Joy Sang, and so we can make it work. But when you go first-ish, in the sense like Chris Billam-Smith, we announced that at the stadium to try and avoid clashes. You can't do anything more than that, and obviously we're the biggest broadcaster. We have the biggest broadcaster. When they want to go, they're going to go. And yeah, I'm just unbelievably excited to get this one over the line.
And just talking about the schedules, I saw some tweets yesterday. People were obviously crediting the DAZN schedule that's been announced over the next couple of months. Just tell us how you're going to compete with that, and have you got anything else in the pipeline? Because the DAZN have put out a really strong schedule.
Yeah, I keep seeing that from our schedules being compared, but we've not even announced our schedule. we've got two massive fights similar to this to be announced in the next week or so. So I think it's good, and I'm looking forward to the DAZN schedule. As a boxing fan, I'm looking forward to all boxing. And as I say, we've got some massive fights to announce in the next week or so, and it's good for boxing. As I say, like, it really is on fire. I think people will be very surprised at the fights that will be announcing next week, and this is another big one as well. So I think it's good, healthy competition, and as I say, it's almost like boxing every weekend, big fights, and yeah, two more to announce in the next week.
And just this situation with Amir Khan, I know you've said in interviews already that you only found out yesterday from social media, but you know, from my understanding, the government, the UKAD should have notified yourself, the boxing board, and Amir Khan. Did that not happen in this case, and who should we be questioning for that not happening?
It didn't happen, and I think we're as bemused, embarrassed and baffled by the fact that we found out on social media this morning. I think that's a question that needs to go to UKAD. We contract with VADA, the private organisation. That was the most rigorous testing we've ever done for a fight. Unbelievable. Out in Fuerteventura with Kel, Colorado, it was consistent, it was ridiculous in terms of the level. I remember actually to this day the camps complaining about getting up and this and that. It was intense, it was on the fight week. But as I say, to not know is disappointing, embarrassing, baffling. But it goes back to the point, where's the global unified world doping authority on boxing? This is difficult because there's so many different authorities, there's so many different communication lines, there's so many different territories. For me, that's the big problem. But as I say, baffled that we didn't know until on social media today. And if anyone wants to question that, go and speak to VADA and go and speak to the board and find out if we knew or not. Because as I say, the first thing we knew was this morning, which is crazy. I'm disappointed, obviously, as to what happened with Amir, but that's a question for him, and I think someone needs to ask why we weren't notified.
It's well known that Amir throughout his entire career has always tested clean. It's the test that was on fight night. Amir's come out, and I think the statement from what I've read, they've suggested that they've accepted his reasoning that it was unintentional, which is quite a key part in it all. So my question to you is, Ben, do you believe Amir?
I do believe Amir, but it doesn't matter. And this is a thing. This is a strict liability problem. Yes, it might reduce his test or his ban and his sentence or whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter whether it's intentional or unintentional. It doesn't matter whether it's a trace or a big thing. You have to have strict liability, otherwise you'll never stamp it out of the sport. It's simple as that. And so it's not down to me whether I believe Amir. I do believe Amir, but he still failed a drugs test, and so he'll have a punishment for that. That can only affect the sentence, but that's why it doesn't matter who you are, where you are. If you fail a drugs test, that's a strict liability thing. And if we don't have that, all it's going to do is encourage other fighters. It's going to encourage it in the sport. And if there's ever a sport that can do without drugs, it's boxing. People are putting their lives on the line anyway. And anyone that argues with that, I find baffling.
Last question for you. Did you watch KSI's comments yesterday that came out? He made on a video. Have you seen that?
No.
All right. He filmed a video where he made a racial derogatory term about British Pakistanis. I spoke to the DAZN brothers about it. They're bitterly disappointed. KSI has come out and apologised since, and obviously I know his fight's going to be announced tomorrow with Jay Fournier. Any comments on that? Obviously you've not seen it, so it might be difficult.
Yeah, difficult, sorry.
Ben, Shalom, on that note, we'll leave it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, mate.